Hello, hello, hello. Today, wait, I gotta get Rena's name up there. Today we are talking about making a annual marketing plan. If you don't know me, I'm Pip, and this is,
Rena.
and we'll tell you more about us later. But I thought we'd get right into it. If you're joining us today in the Facebook group, hello and welcome. If you're joining us on another channel, we are broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook business pages, and inside the Facebook group Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. So let's get into it. No time like the present.
Okay, yes, because it's a huge topic for 30 minutes.
Huge.
But we're going to try and hit most of the main points. And of course, you can leave your questions in the comments below, and we'll get back to you with hopefully, some good answers.
Right? I have put up, let me see if I can take myself there, the Facebook group page. So when people do comment, I can actually know who's commenting.
Oh, great. Oh,
Right?
great.
Because you can only see people when they're attached to your business page. I think
Oh, is that how it works?
that's how it works.
Yeah, that's right, because groups are private, and if we're streaming outside of a private group, then it's going to show up as Facebook user.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah.
Um, we have somebody joining us. Hello. Hello. I love, just an aside before we start, I love how now your live video gets pinned in the featured so that it's much easier to find the live video when it's going.
Excellent. I had no idea.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. So today, yes, annual marketing plan. It's kind of a big deal. The three things I think we're going to go over are audits, plans, and execution. But we're going to dig more into detail. If you have questions, pop them in below, and we will make sure to answer them. Or if you have an opinion. Now, Rena, do you do your own marketing annual plan?
Yes, I do. In fact, it's quite surprising, but maybe not to the same rigorous degree as I perform my clients' plans.
Right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, when I work on my own stuff, I'm mostly working from a place where I tell all of my clients not to do, which is figure out what your sales goals are for the year, and then we work from that. So it comes sort of from a bit, your business development plan, how much you want to expand, that kind of stuff in terms of sales, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get those sales, because you can't just make,
Can't
you
just
can't.
dream about it? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you have to actually make the steps, organize the channels, the campaigns, the focus, and set yourself up for success. Otherwise, so many people, I see this all the time. They make this, big list of, big audacious goals, as some of the coaches like to.
The BHAGs?
So they're the giant goals, and I understand that you want to make some really big goals, so that even if you only get 75% there, that's probably way bigger than what you would have done if you thought, now what's a realistic goal. So I do like the big goals, but you need to sort of, in order to figure out how you should be getting that, you're going to need to do an audit first to see what's working and what's not working.
Mm. I'm starting to do that looking back to my last week. Um,
Oh, interesting.
Looking at my calendar. I'm a calendar fanatic, it seems.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because who's been having too many meetings? This girl. So we're trying to figure that out so I could get to, I have created breathing room. So, um, but let's get back to the real topic at hand. You are saying that you want to have your sales goals
Yes.
in line before you make a marketing plan. I like that. I am a dreamer, and I figured out yesterday. I was like, a dream is only a wish unless you have a plan.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. So not only do you need a plan, but you need it right in front of your face, because if you get bogged down in your day to day, and you don't have your dreams, your goals on your, I'll show you where mine are.
I know. I know. You
My
see,
window. On my window, I use my living room window as my as
goal.
my board, and it's got all of my goals, and it's got it. I track my sales weekly, and make sure that's up in front of my face. So I'm like, ooh, that's not quite right. Who do I need to call or follow up with to get that going? So
Mm,
it just reminds me, because I have ADHD and I get easily distracted into the minutia of the client work.
I don't know what you're talking about there. Who does that? I think we all
Exactly.
have a bit of ADHD, or I figured out I had ADHD from my friends online. More on that later. But okay, so I know that major corporations and things, they actually set aside a budget.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, Kelly's here. Hello, Kelly. She says, a dream is only a wish unless you have a plan. I love this. I must put it on my wall. Yes.
Yes.
To be honest, although I thought I came up with it the other day, somebody was like, "Oh, I love that. Who said that?" And I was like, "Uh oh, somebody else might have said it."
Yeah, you have to attribute your quotes.
Right?
Um,
But it's because we've grown in the last 2 years, and we want to grow more. Um,
yeah.
I'm very used to making an SEO plan.
Yes. So
Um, it's
yes,
different.
that's the thing. So if you actually get really stuck in one section, one area of your plan, you could grow. In fact, often you do. Like, I think we've both experienced that. But the growth is not planned growth, it's just like chaos growth. And that can actually lead to burnout and all sorts of other things.
Oh,
It can lead to getting a whole lot of clients in the same arena that you're going to need the same contractor for, and they don't have capacity. Or it can lead to, but if you actually organize, okay, now I only want this many websites a month, and I only want this many social media clients a month, and I only want this many whatever. And then to make sure that you actually have the team that can facilitate and output the work, because making sales is only one part of the client journey. The rest of it is retention. And it's so much cheaper to put effort into retention than it is to put into sales. So
mm.
when you get that one client, you want to make sure that they have an excellent experience from the get go. And that is actually, I view that as, that's branding. That's
It's
branding.
also it is part of marketing. If the
Yeah.
funnel is no longer that like a
No.
funnel, it is actually like an hourglass,
Yeah.
where the sale happens in the middle.
Oh, that's a
And
nice analogy.
yeah, and then because you want to retain and keep clients coming back, and that's where I think a lot of businesses, well, marketing businesses go wrong, especially when they hoard access and passwords and whatever. But that's a story another day. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are going to go through the three major components to building a marketing plan yearly. So we've already discussed that you know, this is about getting sales, right? So it's not just marketing to market. It's not like I'm putting
Yeah, there is the biggest misunderstanding that I see in small business owners, especially the solopreneurs, is that somehow they think that marketing is actually going to make the sales, like marketing will equal sales, but it's actually not. Marketing delivers leads, and then you have to have a sales process to actually make the sale. And that's those two things need to work really well together. So if you're not tracking, you have to track, you got to track what's happening on the marketing side, and you have to track what's happening on the lead side, like what happens to that lead, how is it nurtured, how is it organized, and then what happens to it, and do you follow up, how often do you do follow up. So that's a super important aspect of marketing. It's not just like people, I can't tell you how many people say, oh, well, I've got a funnel on it, and no sales are happening. Well, you think you have a funnel if no sales are happening, but do you really?
right? And so that brings us to the very first amazing point of auditing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, Audit what
Yeah.
you did last year, and when
Yeah.
you audit, that means going into the channels
Yes.
and saying, okay, well, like, how many posts did I do? How much reach did it get? Or how many blog posts did I do? How much reach did it get? How many people are reading it? So
Yeah.
every channel, you want to go through every channel and do an optimization assessment, right?
Yeah.
What worked, what didn't work.
Well, I want to just clarify the optimization. When I do an audit, there are two things that I'm actually looking at. And when I think of optimization, I'm thinking of the channel pages themselves. Are they well optimized? And that's number one, because you need to be able to pull up on the search function for most of the social channels. And then you want to think about, because actually you're probably thinking about optimize on in terms of blog posts, which is also optimizing. It's just and then the audit part of the marketing part I would put as a separate piece. So it's look at your channels, see what needs updating. Do we still have the right keywords and services on all of our front facing stuff, or do we need to add things? If we added new services that we now need to put up there, or do we need to take anything off or reword things or use some fancy lingo that's changed? So those are, yeah.
See, yeah, because I mean, to be honest, because we focus on SEO and Google Ads, that's where our main focus is. And, like most business owners, we're just running as fast as we can. That
Yeah.
makes me want to break into song, just so you know. Um, right? I'm going to have to go play that song after. So I would want to take stock for myself of if I'm doing an audit on my socials. So like
Yeah.
looking at the videos that worked in the Facebook group or on the other channels and maybe playing more into that. And this would take maybe a big spreadsheet. Do you use a big spreadsheet for this?
I do. I definitely, sort of. I use some parts of spreadsheet, but I'm much more of a visual learner, so spreadsheets aren't my friend.
I know.
But uh, but I definitely look at all of the numbers and I organize them in a way that's similar to a spreadsheet. But the other thing that you want to think about is campaigns. Like, look at your stuff. Did I actually run any campaigns, or am I just putting out a whole bunch of content?
Mm-hmm.
Because cohesive campaigns is where all of the channels could be working together for you for one particular purpose and one particular goal. So if you have website goals, you're not going to just put out a whole bunch of social media content, right? If you have website goals, you want to put out you want to sort of create nice little arcs, right? We call them arcs. I don't know. I call them arcs. I also call them like breadcrumb, right? So you want to educate the person on the thing that you're going to want to sell in about
Mm-hmm.
a month,
20
right?
to 1.
Oh, what's that? Tell me about that.
20 to 1. So you do, 20 posts that are not selling. Don't
Oh,
sell.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
selling. And then you can pitch, right? I mean, so it's Gary V did the jab, jab, jab hook. Damn it, I forgot. Watch this. Hold on, guys. I'm working on my video skittles. Okay, so we have this. Bam. Okay. Ooh, a little outline. And then well, this
Oh,
is what we're talking about today.
you're dropping the title in.
Right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So the question is, what about looking at each client and backtrack how they arrive at my doorstep?
Yes,
Great
exactly. In fact,
question.
and that's sort of what I was saying in terms of like we can organize the marketing and do an audit on those channels, but you have to know what's happening in your sales process. So yes, the first thing that you should be doing as a business owner or getting your receptionist or whoever answers the phone, how did you find us? Or when you have your discovery calls, how did you find us? And figure that can help to reify the numbers that you're probably seeing. So if you're running ads, it's going to be a lot easier to do a lot of this tracking because you've got the assisted conversions and all that stuff organized to help you see it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just putting out, if you're putting out organic content only, then you're going to have a little bit of a harder time
You
with track.
can you can backtrack. So, however, it can be a challenge. Number one, it can be a real challenge if you're using third-party softwares
Yeah. Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know what we have clients using things and we're trying to tie things together. Like it does take a lot of work to backtrack, but you
Like
can.
like you're talking about if people are doing their sales on things like Kajabi
Yeah.
or what are the other ones that we've had a hard time?
Acuity,
Oh, there's a booking one that I
Thinkific.
started. Bookio, that's another
Ah,
one.
yeah,
That's
yeah. So
yeah,
that might
yeah,
make it harder. We do backtrack. So a lot of what we focus on is the measures inside doing an audit. You
yeah.
need to be, and I've seen people delete their most visited page on their website because they
I
had
know.
no
I want to
idea.
hear that. I know. I know. Well, you're right. That's exactly why, because they don't know. And checking that information or having somebody on your team that can present that information to you in a way that's accessible is super important. Otherwise, you're just making it up from your own perspective. And people think they know a lot about their websites without looking at analytics, and they actually don't.
And some people blog, even marketers. I have a marketing friend who turned around and was like paying for somebody to do blogging on her site. She's like, I don't know if it's working. And I'm like, well, have you looked?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
We all get tied into the things, right? So and that Anna, that's a really good question. The
Yeah.
answer, like usual in marketing, is it depends, and yes, maybe. Um, the greatest part is trying to accomplish that. That's what we try
Yes.
to accomplish, right? Because I want to know what keywords
Yeah.
drove the phone call, which got
Or
me the
which
client.
ad or which blog or which piece of content. Yeah. It's really,
UTM
yeah.
parameters.
Yes. 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 Have we done a thing on that yet?
We
We
have,
should probably put that in the next
if you
little
don't
bit.
know what UTM parameters are, they're a little bit of extra kind of codey stuff that you copy and you paste inside, say, your ads for Google Ads or maybe on your social post URL, right?
Can you put it on your social posts? I thought
I
it
have
had to be just
no idea.
on.
I don't do social media. What do you
It's. I've only ever done it on ads. I've never seen that you could do it on a
do?
post, but I will look into that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a good.
yeah. Do that. So okay, we gotta what we're at 11:17, so we're
Yeah.
audit the behaviors out of your stuff, um,
Yeah.
and then look at what you accomplished last year and set some goals on what you think you'll do this year to accomplish those goals. So that's where the wish and the dream comes into play. Because if you don't set KPIs, like I mean, my wish is that I double my business from last year. And so, what
Mhm.
am I going to do? I had to ask myself, what am I going to do this year that's going to take me there? And, we have a podcast now, we got YouTube stuff, we're teaching, we're doing all the things, but yet that is not a plan. So, the
Yeah.
next step, so you pick your KPIs and then we start making a plan. Rena, tell me about the planning.
Yeah, so I like to break it up backwards. So if I want to make a certain amount of money or a certain amount of sales, I track it both in dollar amount and in units per thing that have, and then I break it up into quarters, months, and then weeks, and then from there I look
So
at.
cool. Like that, just saying.
From there, I look at my buying cycles, like when do clients mostly buy this, or when will they be mostly interested in this? And in my industry, it's really not neither here nor there. If you have a retail store, it will be very specific to the winter holidays and the Mother's Day and all of that. Like you actually have those types of campaigns, and then you can actually just make up your own promotions and put those into your campaign and figure out, okay, I want to focus my area of focus for sales this quarter is going to be, I don't know, hosting packages or whatever. And then I know how many I want to sell. So then I figure out what's my campaign going to be. What key pieces of information do I need to make sure people understand about my particular hosting and maintenance packages? And then I'm going to drip that out to my current clients, especially those who don't have that service already, but might have all other services because we've developed a relationship. So that's always your first group that you target or upsell to, or your people.
Okay,
uh,
that's actually a really good point. So, earlier we talked about how the marketing plan is, an hourglass now, and how part of that is the sold clients. So you're upselling. So you're taking your marketing and you're gonna, whatever your plan is, you're gonna upsell your existing clients if
yeah,
possible. And
yeah,
and so that's not only keeping your clients, but that's getting them into a position to stay with you longer. That's great.
yes,
Um, I like that. I like that as part of a plan. So, do you have
yeah,
a KPIs for
yes.
those clients? Ooh.
Yeah, I have on my client. Oh gosh, I hope are my clients there. Okay, on my client Trello cards, I identify things in advance that I think that they could be working on. Shortfalls that I can obviously see, problems with the way that their blog is structured, or
Mm,
I know that they don't put out a regular newsletter, or they need some help with whatever. I can
where
see
they
that.
can win next. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where they can win next, and what are the easiest things for them to implement to get results. So I actually, when I doing my looking, my work, my whatever, I will mark those down on a little tick list called future work.
Ooh.
Um, and then when I have monthly meetings with them, going over the work that we've done, if I feel it's a good time, I'll bring it up to discuss, what I've noticed,
Mhm.
and just let them know how we can help support them in that particular way. So yeah, that's a sales thing, not a marketing
But
thing.
it is part of a marketing plan, right? Because part of our marketing plan is, how do we manage our clients? And
Yeah.
because in our reports we do, if people buy Google ads, we add in the SEO stuff. And then, and my favorite is when they say things like, oh, this SEO, this, and I'm like, you're not actually paying for SEO, but we can
Yeah.
talk about that. So remember this plan, your marketing plan. We believe, and not everybody thinks like this, that it encompasses not only your not existing clients, the clients that to be, but also
Yeah,
your existing clients. So
for sure.
add that
And
into your plan.
excuse me.
Yeah, like add
And
that into your plan.
And so I think what happens for me is when I look at my numbers, I'm looking at them on the window right now, and I think, oh, I'm so close to hitting my target. So then I go and I look on those future lists and I see, ooh, who haven't I spoken to in a while? And then I'll just reach out and say, hey, how's it going? Do you want to chat about what's going on for you in your marketing? And then if they're interested, then I get on a call with them, and that can be really motivating. That's why I have my goals on my window.
Right? So, and then,
Yeah.
so once you have those goals in place, creating a strategy where you're sharing, we know that, like, there's this underlining pressure of, oh my God, I have to post. Oh my God, I need to post something on social, or should I be
Yeah.
posting more? Or am I on the wrong channel? Or,
Yeah.
and the thing about it is, I think you have to pick, how many times are you going to want to post with the idea that you want to send everybody back to your website. And
Yeah.
we all get this wrong. Like we've been doing video for a long time. We've worked on ways to get it on our site. Um, we are working on a way to get it on our site right now, but we're not utilizing that. So I think where people really miss the mark is
Yeah.
that making the content and sharing it in different places with the idea to bring them back to your site.
Yeah. So that's where the strategy and the plan comes in, because what people do is they become content machines and then they just continually put out content and they don't actually distribute it. Or they either don't distribute it in all of the places that they should be, or or they don't distribute it with your website or
And
lead generation in mind. So that should always be happening, exactly that. And you also want to make sure that your content exhausts itself, so you shouldn't just be going by you know the average number of times that people say you should be posting on Facebook.
or the
Really, you
time
need,
of day.
yeah. Oh, that drives me crazy, because medians, like averages, are like taking everything and squishing it into a middle, and that is actually doesn't help you. It might be a good, maybe it's a good starting spot. I don't even really think so.
I
I've
think you
got my
start with
ideas of
what
what.
works for you.
Yeah, you need to look at your numbers. Facebook tells you what time of day your audience is on Facebook looking at your stuff. Like, it gives you that information and the insights. So this idea that we just post for posting's sake is a waste of time, a waste of money. You've only got so many resources. And really all the resources should be going to distributing one good piece of content over posting and posting and posting and posting. Like that's
Well, and
not
that's
gonna.
the thing. So with a website, and so okay, first year of business, you're concentrated on creating content, right? Second year, probably a lot of the same. But what should be happening is you should be looking at your old content, updating that,
And
and
distribute.
then and then distributing
Yeah.
better or speaking about or to, because I mean, what are the issues your clients are going to have, or what do you want to teach, or there's
So
lots of variables.
I
It
have a
is.
really good example
Oh,
about this that I usually pull out. Now, we created one tiny stop motion video for a spa client once, and we posted that on Facebook, and we created Google Ads with it. We ran that for 6 months. We ran that for 6 months. We exhausted that content, and it got in front of like over 60,000 people on a very small budget, and it brought more people in. Yeah, it brought more people into the clinic because it was a targeted piece of messaging, like, that goes to people, and it goes to a lot of people, 60,000 people, and then it goes to those people more than once. Like, you got to hit them, like, some people say 3 times, some people say 7 times, some
there,
people
yeah,
say 12 times.
they call it touch points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want touch points. So the idea behind a marketing plan is, I think, to get in front of people. So you got to look at it like your Facebook page or your you on Facebook or you on your website is all about engaging, talking to your clients,
Hmm.
right? It's asynchronous. So it's not at the same time necessarily that I'm writing it, that they're reading it, because you want people to be in a place where they know you already, and that
Yeah.
when they're ready to buy, that's when they're making the call. That's when they're, you know,
And then the other thing that I wanted to point out is that it should be like, top funnel, mid funnel, and you need ad budget for it to do this properly. Like, honestly, it's very hard to do this organically. I've got one client, and we do a lot of stuff for them on LinkedIn and Twitter where they get a lot of action. They get zero action on Facebook, not because their target market is not there, but because they won't put any money into Facebook ads.
mm,
And so, but we still put the content out there. And I have no idea why, because we post the content every couple of days. We post a new piece of content, and they have like 25 people on their page. And that's and if you're only getting like, I don't know, 5% of those people, which is what the algorithm allows for when you don't have ads, then it's actually very expensive to pay me to make that content and post it up there to get in front of like the maximum. If we get like 100% of our people, it's going to be 25. So if you're looking at your numbers, you need to figure out, this is another part of the audit, figuring out how many leads you need to create a sale, and then how many clicks you need to create those leads, and you need to get those numbers sorted. That's another really big
well,
piece of.
yeah, and that works into how many there is a sweet spot you want to get to on your website, which is 2% of the people that come to your website take the action you want, whether it be sign up to your email list or fill out a form or buy a product, right? So that's what, as a marketer, we're working towards. Google Ads actually makes you do that. You calculate, 10 to 1. Say I need 10 clicks to get one person to fill out a form, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that, right? And you got one form. How many forms do you need before you can close a deal? So, like, I'll say 1 in 4. You should be at least trying closing 1 in 4 of people you're talking to. And if you're not, you need to change that strategy, right? So, sales and marketing really work hand in hand. And it's so funny. They used to be very separate departments,
I know.
you
Now
know?
they now you even get people like in most companies that I work with, the VP marketing and sales is one person now. They
Huh?
don't even separate it into two people.
Uh,
Some of them, which I thought was really weird because sales guys typically aren't trained in marketing at all,
right.
right?
That's true.
So
And it's funny
yeah,
because, it used to be marketing spent the money and sales brought in the money,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
like people like, or businesses like Shopify.
Oh, I have a question. We haven't even talked about this. Sorry. So what is the amount of budget that you should be spending on
Mm.
marketing?
Well,
I've got
okay, I use the 4 quadrants of what you got. Because I tell people I can spend millions. Like, you can be everywhere and do everything. So you got to figure out, well, do you have money or do you have time? If you
yeah,
have both of those, yay you. If you have
yeah,
neither of those, uh-oh. And if you're
yeah,
in the middle somewhere, that's going to determine whether you're spending the money or you're
mhm,
spending the time, right? Because
yeah.
if you have time but no money, then you're doing it yourself, right?
Yes.
But if you
Yes.
have money and no time, you're probably
Okay,
paying
so
other people.
yeah. So here's a question. You have a small budget which you can't get a full package for. Do you pay for content or organic content, or do you pay for ads?
Well, it depends on what you're selling.
Okay, good answer. It would be nice to just nail you into one corner once.
um, there is something. So different products and services work better on different channels. If I'm
Yeah,
a plumber, do I want to be on Facebook? Maybe I want to be on TikTok. I will tell you, we have a client and we do video, and YouTube Shorts was our main priority, but we started putting them on TikTok.
yeah.
Um, her book sales have gone up
Oh, yeah.
using
That's not
both those
surprising.
channels. Brilliant. I mean, that made me feel good.
TikTok
So,
is amazing. It's
right.
actually one of the best top funnel, and you end up, if you depending on what you're selling, you end up getting really good clients from there. It's the weirdest little app that people either love it or they hate it.
Right? Now, I will say there are a couple things for like some best advice we have because we're running, well, we're out of time. Best
I feel
advice
like, can we
is
skip part two?
no, we didn't skip any part.
No, I'm wondering, can we schedule a part two? Because I feel like we
We,
haven't even
oh,
finished.
we can. Oh, well, this just makes people want to talk to us now.
I know.
So, if you don't know, on Fridays we have a happy hour where we continue the discussion sometimes. Rena hosts it.
This
So,
is
come to the Facebook group. It is interactive, so you do come on a Zoom or a Google Meet and you do share your face and your ideas and your voice, and it's fun. Have a drink, you bring it yourself. But let's recap and talk about two quick things, which is so
okay.
we talked about a marketing plan is all about doing an audit, then creating a plan systematically, picking a channel or two to try for minimum 3 months, minimum, and make sure you're looking at the data. And then that works into execution, which is people reporting and tools, right?
Yeah.
Which we kind
Yeah.
of filled in about the you can either spend money or you can do it yourself. And the best advice is have a marketing plan before you hand it to your marketers,
Yes, that
right?
is, I,
And
yeah.
lastly, I think we should add in think about video this year, short form video. I know it's hard, but honestly, it seems to be getting a lot of traction.
Yeah, Instagram has changed the video length. We used to be able to upload these straight to Instagram after the show, and we no longer can. There's a 10-minute cutoff, so
I kind
keep
of
that
like
in
that.
mind.
I
Drive me nuts.
I like the 2 minutes on TikTok. Honestly, be fast, be quick, get it done, right? Like, but that's
Yeah, but I miss the Instagram lives, like the long play ones. Like I really just miss those, and I'm trying to figure out if there's a workaround. I don't know why it just sort of
YouTube.
changed.
YouTube is the workaround.
I know why. I know, but how do you post? You can't really post YouTube on Instagram.
No, you cannot.
You
It's
can only
true.
send people there, but nobody travels anywhere from Instagram, is what I have found. It's very hard to get traffic off of Instagram.
That is true. We
Yeah,
are out of time. Out of time. So if you liked this, join us on Friday for happy hour, and we will see you next week. Next week is the third Thursday of the
that's right.
month, and we do a marketing roundup, I believe, on the third or fourth Thursday, where we talk about all the changes in search, social, and websites. So join us there and then in the Facebook group. And if you have any questions, reach out to us on the side. Both of us have our own marketing businesses. Rena, your agency is?
Little Works Indie Media.
And we're Seymour Digital Media, and our powers combined, because marketers need to work together, we are saving business owners one business at a time with their marketing, right?
Okay.
That might need some workshopping. No workshopping. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.